Château de Pernon is full of mystery. The royal busts that disappeared for well over a century, the lost identities of two statues on the chateau facade, even the name of the architect who designed Pernon at the end of the 18th century. Unlocking these secrets has been part of the adventure of saving this magnificent chateau. When we first arrived, this composition on a wall of our entrance baffled us. What was it, and why was it here?
So what is it? Well, it's called a meridian calendar, and it's positioned here in the entrance to the chateau, but on the southern side. And it's the southern side that gets all the sun. And it worked via that small disc positioned just above the door and gazing through the transom window. And that small disc is called a gnomon. And to understand its purpose, we need to go back to Roman times.
There has always been a problem aligning calendars with the solar year. We all know that a year is the amount of time it takes the Earth to revolve around the Sun. The basic problem is that there is not an exact number of days in a solar year. And so for more than 2,000 years, astronomers have tried to come up with a way to account for this extra part of a day that exists in each year. We've done it by adding leap years. An extra day every 4 years. That gets our calendar back into sync with our solar year. And that's really the key phrase, back into sync. Because we add 1 day every 4 years to account for a fraction of a day that is being accumulated each year, our calendar is out of sync more often than we realise.
So let's go back to the end of the 18th century when Château de Pernon was first constructed. How did they make sure that their mechanical clocks were keeping good time? Well, this meridian calendar would have helped. And when the chateau was constructed, someone with seriously impressive astronomical knowledge made sure that everything was in exactly the right place so that this calendar would work. They had to make sure that the gnomon was positioned exactly 2.45 metres above the base of the door, and that it was pointed due south 180 degrees. They had to make sure that the distance between the gnomon and the inscription on this wall was exactly 3.3 metres. And they had to understand the angle of this wall here relative to the celestial object that they were observing, in this case the sun. And this is called the azimuth. And finally, they had to be sure that this star here was positioned exactly 1.32 metres above the floor. And if their calculations were correct, then sometime at the end of October or the beginning of November, at exactly solar noon, the sun would shine through that gnomon and illuminate this black disc at the base of our meridian calendar. And then each day, at solar noon, the sun would advance up this black line until the 21st of December, the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year in the Northern Hemisphere, when it would illuminate this star here. But it only works if the sun is shining. Let's put our meridian calendar to the test.
is about 10 to 1 on the 18th of December. We are just 3 days away from the winter solstice, and it looks like our theory about this meridian is going to be correct, and that is that on the winter solstice, the light from the gnomon should hit exactly this star here, the center of this star here. The one essential element, however, for this meridian to work is sunlight, and today the property is absolutely bathed in it, so let's hope that that continues for the next 3 days.
Well, it's the 21st of December 2025. It's the winter solstice, it's solar noon, and what have we got here on our meridian solar calendar? Well, we've got nothing. It falls to me again to be the bearer of bad news. One thing we have absolutely no control over here at Château de Pernon is the weather. And as you can see, outside there's no sun at all. Maybe next year. Well, autumn held such promise. It was so mild, the sun was out, but as soon as winter beckoned, the weather just changed, the fog came in, and the sun just completely disappeared.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that it was only 7 days ago that you were wearing a t-shirt here when we were tracking the meridian, and I really thought that this year was going to be the year that we got there, but unfortunately in the last 7 days we've had no sunshine at all. But we will follow it now as it descends down to the base of the meridian, and that should arrive at the base at the end of winter.
And the silver lining was for us on Christmas Eve, it started to snow and it did not stop all night, and we woke up to our first white Christmas, and it was truly magical to see Château de Pernon just blanketed in snow.
Yeah, in fact I was so excited I spent the entire night watching the snow through our security cameras. So I was like a child the night before Christmas, quite literally.
It was a fantastic way to celebrate Christmas Day.
And so remember, if you would like to follow the restoration of Château de Pernon more closely, we post an exclusive weekly video for our YouTube and Patreon members. We post frequent updates on all our social media channels, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Otherwise, just hit the subscribe button, turn on your notifications, and we will see you in the new year.